Alright, so I'm back in Photoshop here, and I am going to go to my desktop. So I'm going to go to Photoshop and hide, and I'm going to open these three images that I'm using. I'm going to open these in Photoshop. So I'm going to click Bondi Beach up to this comic of a kangaroo, and hold Shift to select the top and bottom so it selects all of them, and then Control click and open with Photoshop. And again, I'm using CS5, you guys will be using CS6. So I know this makes no sense right now why I am opening up images of kangaroos and this woman on the beach. This is from Visit Australia's website, so I thought it'd be fun to play around with this image and add some elements to the image that are not a part of the original image. So we were dealing with the selection tool here, the elliptical and the rectangular marquee tool. The button beneath these tools, you have the Lasso Tool, the Polygonal Lasso Tool, and the Magnetic Lasso Tool. And the options in the button beneath that, if I click and hold, you can see that I have a Quick Selection Tool and a Magic Wand Tool. So I'm going to be basically dealing with these two buttons for this tutorial. But the first one I want to deal with is the Magic Wand Tool. So it's 1, 2, 3 beneath the Move Tool. And it may be the Quick Selection Tool right now. Like that may be the default setting for your system. So you will have to click and hold that button and select the Magic Wand Tool. So with this image of, I'm not going to use this kangaroo, I'm going to use this kangaroo. With this image of the kangaroo, the easiest way to understand the Magic Wand Tool is to actually see how I'm using it. And if I go over to unlock this layer, because I'm not going to be able to select portions of the layer while this is locked, so I'm just going to double click this and call it Kangaroo 1. And what the Magic Wand Tool does is it selects all the portions of the image that are similar to what I clicked. So in this element here, if I click this white area, it selects everything around the kangaroo that's white. And this is a really easy photo for the Magic Tool, or an easy comic, I guess, for the Magic Wand Tool to work with, because it's just a clear white background around the kangaroo. So now if I click Delete, it deletes the background element. And I'm going to click Command D to deselect and go back up here to my Move Tool. And you can see now that I just have this kind of free-form kangaroo, and I deleted the background white color. So just like our cropping exercise, if I go up to Select All and I click Command C to copy, I'm going to go back over to this Bondi Beach photo and press Command V to paste in this kangaroo. And you can see, because I removed the background white, that it looks more like it's in the scene. Now obviously it's not in the scene, this wouldn't really make much sense, but if you're adding elements to a photo, you want to be able to remove the background so it looks more seamless in the composition that you're creating. And you see when I copied and pasted it into this photo, it created a new layer for the kangaroo comic. And with the Move Tool selected, I can click and drag him to different portions of the photo. So I want him kind of standing over here on the beach, but I want to make him smaller so that it creates some sort of depth in the photo. So to change the size of the kangaroo in this image, you can go up to Edit and Transform, or free transform, which is what I prefer to do. And this is a hotkey that if you don't remember any other hotkeys and shortcuts in this Photoshop portion of our class, the free transform one is the most important one. This is the one you definitely want to remember, because it's so annoying to every time you want to change the size of something to have to go up to Edit and Transform, or Edit and Free Transform. So this Command T stands for Free Transform. So with the kangaroo layer selected, I'm going to click Command T. And you can see that this box is now around the kangaroo. But if I click, I could change the size of this kangaroo, and this is the essence of Free Transform. You don't want to just click the corner here and drag it down without scaling it properly, or you're going to have a really tall kangaroo or I guess fat kangaroo. So I'm going to click Control Z. You want to hold Shift when you are scaling this down, and it's going to scale it down in the proper proportion of the image. So I'm going to scale it down to that size right there, and I'm going to click Enter so that the transformation is applied. And I'm going to move this kangaroo kind of over here in the sand. And you know, I want him to kind of be tilted a little bit, so I'm going to click Command T again to get back to free transform. And you can see that when I'm dealing with the corners and the top of the image, it is creating these two arrows. But if I go about a couple centimeters away from the top, it curves the line that's connecting those arrows. And that's giving you the option to rotate the image that you're dealing with. So I'm just going to rotate them back a little bit like that, let's say, and click Enter. And now I have added this additional element to the image. So that's pretty easy to understand. That is the magic wand tool, and I used it to remove the white background of the kangaroo. But if I click an actual photo like this, I have to choose the layer that I'm selecting. That's a good teachable moment. So if I click the actual photo, I'm going to have to click this layer here. So let me unlock it. And using the magic wand tool, let's say I click the sky. You can see that it's not nearly as clean as choosing just the full white background that the kangaroo had. Now I can delete this, and I may have to zoom in and doctor some things, but it's really good for cutting out one solid color of an image. That's what the magic wand tool is really good for. But let's say I want to really get detailed about how I'm cutting out the pixels. What you want to do, or what you want to use if you want to be more detailed in your selection, is the button above the magic wand tool, and those are the lasso tools. So I'm going to go back to this kangaroo here, and I want to just cut out the kangaroo head. That's all I want. And if I use the magic wand tool to select the white, let me go over here and unlock it. It deletes the background, which is good. I'm going to have to do that. But I just want to select this kangaroo's head. And if I click on the head, you can see that it did an okay job. I'm zooming in here, pressing Command plus. But it didn't really get everything. So I'm going to have to do this manually. So I'm going to click Command D, and I'm going to go back over here. And if I click and hold the lasso tool, the lasso tool is a freehand way of just selecting any portion of the image. So I'm just drawing this weird shape, and I let go when it gets to the start of my drawing, and it selects all the pixels in that freeform shape. Well, that's not really going to be helpful because I don't have a very steady hand, so if I just went around and traced this kangaroo head, it's not going to end up looking very good. What I like to use is the Polygonal Lasso Tool. So let me click that. And I'm going to zoom all the way into the kangaroo's head. And I can really get some detail here. And this tool allows me to click and create lines of my selection. So if I had a lot of time, I can go through here and just clicking and dragging lines and select this entire kangaroo head. And I am going to do that, but I'm probably not going to be as detailed as if I had more time to go through here. Okay, so I have selected this. I've used the lasso tool to select just the kangaroo head. And before I create the last click here, if I zoom back in, you're going to see that I have this last line to make to connect it to where I started. And if you see, the icon changes, and it may be tough to see in this tutorial, but originally it has this kind of weird, like, I don't know, this weird shape that is the icon. Now when I drag my line over where I started drawing, a little circle is created beneath that shape. And that means that when I click on that point, it is going to complete the selection for me. So I zoom back out, you're going to see that I traced around the head. And now if I go back to my Move tool, with this selection already selected, I'm going to press Command C to copy, go back to Bondi Beach, and Command V to paste. And all it does is paste in that head. So right now you can see that it created the layer again. I'm going to go back to my Move tool and just drag this over her head. I'm going to press Command T to free transform, and while holding Shift I'm going to make the kangaroo head a little smaller, and I'm going to tilt it a little bit. And there we go. Voila, I gave her a kangaroo head. So those are the different ways in which you can select, having, I guess, mass selections or automated selections. You could use the Magic Wand tool, which is a very much an automatic selection, or you can use the Lasso tool to get really detailed and just select certain portions of an image to cut out.